I'm not too put off by that either. But as I said, I liked Rogue One and Andor because they were the essence of what Star Wars Galaxies originally was. Normal people living in a Star Wars universe where you hardly ever see anything special. You know, Darth Vader is, you know, the big bad that you never see. I do remember way back, I mean we're talking years now, playing Dungeons and Dragons, and one of our DMs had us all generate fighters, thieves, and we were just a party of, you know, normal people. We had zero in the way of magic users. The nearest we got to healers were rangers who had some herbal skills. We never got very far with it, but you know, the big bad was a wizard. Wasn't a very high level wizard, but then we weren't very high level either. But it was all, you know, magic was almost unheard of, which for a D&D campaign is quite a departure from normal, where everything, you know, yes, we met orcs, yes, we met elves, but for the most part, we were all humans, and either fighters or thieves or some sort of rogues. I did watch The Mandalorian, yes. I liked it initially. I also watched, what was it, The Book of Boba Fett. And, okay, but again, Mandalorians are kind of superhero fighters. Yeah, much like the Jedi, they are the unbeatable people. And Andor and first Rogue One were particularly. There are no special people here. There are no Mandalorians. There are no Jedi. There are just normal people. Obviously, we did get the glimpse of the Force healer, but really that was all we actually saw. And I like the series because of that. Yes. Okay. So that is how I can combine one into many. That is not where I need you to be. Good grief. No, I've played a lot of games. I mean, way back when. I actually started on a game, my online gaming experience, with a game called Earth and Beyond, which was EA Games. Back when we figured out their motto wasn't challenging everything, it was actually cancelling everything. EA Games did not have a clue when it came to online games, in that, or at least online role-playing games. Online role-playing games need to have an ongoing story to keep people coming back. And if you get rid of that, then people go away. They find something else, because you need to, people play games for entertainment. And if the game just becomes go out, kill a rabbit, bring its ears back, get paid, go out, kill a rabbit, bring back its ears, get paid, then the game gets boring very quickly. So you need to have an ongoing story. I think It's one of the reasons why I stopped playing Elite Dangerous. They're now back to providing story. The universe is a living entity as opposed to, just somewhere where you go and do things. And that the problem with any online role-playing game is there needs to be continuous change. So there is always a challenge, there's always something new to find out. And if you don't provide that, the game will die. And that was the problem with Earth and Beyond, was EA Games just said, hey look, we've got a game, we've got however many thousands of subscribers every month, we can just have this money coming in and everything will be fine and wonderful. And they stopped paying, they closed down the developer studio and stopped progressing the story. And people left. And so the game got sunset because nobody's playing it, because you stopped doing the thing that kept people playing it. Star Wars Galaxies, they established a very good game. A lot of people went to play Star Wars Galaxies because of the type of game it was. And then they started messing with it. And then they threw away pretty much 100% of your development. And instead of being completely freeform, you could be a pistolier smuggler, you could be a pistolier droid mechanic. It didn't matter. You could be anything you wanted to be in Star Wars Galaxies when it first came out. They said, well, no, this is too difficult to balance everything out, so you can be 9 professions. And the professions that you were are gone, because they weren't professions, they were sort of skill trees. And people just said, no, I've had enough, I'm leaving. My problem was, okay, my character is now pretty much reset to 0, and I need to do a bunch of quests for the Hutts, for goodness knows who else. Well, my Hutt faction was tanked. I couldn't start that quest line. And unless I completed that quest line, I couldn't go to the next stage of the story. So I quit because they'd just broken the game for me. It was, my character was broken. I would have had to delete the character and completely start over from scratch. And no, I've already done it once. I'm not doing it again. Sorry. So Star Wars Galaxies failed because of Sony Online Entertainment changing everything. From there, we went to EverQuest 2. We played EverQuest 2 for years. And again, that was every 6 months they brought out a new expansion. There were new things to do. Unfortunately, it became very much samey in that, okay, you're level 80. Here's 10 more levels. Go out and fight giants. Okay, 6 months later, here's a new expansion. You can now go to level 100, and this time you're fighting dinosaurs. And it's like, after 2 or 3 years of that, most of us were like, the expansions aren't really anything new. They're exactly the same thing with different different pixels to fight. You're going to crash into that, aren't you? Yes. So again, most of us quit because the game wasn't providing anything new all of a sudden. So if I go very close to this pole, I might just be able to eliminate at least some of these weeds. And then the worker won't get all upset that there's weeds here. There we go. And turn the worker back on and see where he goes. And then, you know, life changes. And everybody moves on. And so I've really gotten into initially I played strategic games. Trying to think. Things like Stellaris, Fantasy General, where Stellaris is explore a universe and do things. Master of Orion, Civilization. They're all sort of games where you're building an empire of some type or another. But I find when I'm playing those sorts of games, it needs to be... I need to sit down and play the game from start to finish. Because if I don't, then what inevitably happens is real life gets in the way. I take 2 weeks off, I come back, I have no clue where I am, what I was doing, and so I start a new game. So they're not really games I can sit down and play. They are the sorts of games I enjoy playing, but I just get frustrated because I just can't, I can't spend the time to finish it. I have had lots of those types of games where I've started Civilization more times than I can name. I think the first time I won, I was the Mongols, and I ignored technology and just built horsemen. And I basically won the game with horsemen. I think the last unit I killed was a Sherman tank from a tank from the American nation, and I did that with about 20 horsemen. Just attacked it over and over and over until it was dead. Kind of funny, but yes, I conquered the world with horses. I did the science ending. I did the obviously I'd done the conquest ending with the Mongols, but that was the last time I finished a game. Civilization 1. I played Civilization 2. Never finished a game. And I think I gave up at Civ 4. I bought it, I played it a few times, I never finished it. It was like, pointless. And so, those sorts of games, I look at them and say, I wish I had the time to play it to completion, but I just don't. And so I've ended up on games like American Truck, Euro Truck, where I can sit down and I don't have to invest time. I can start the game up, my truck is where my truck is, what jobs are in this town, pick up a job, let's go drive somewhere. I can play it for half an hour, depending on how long of a trip I take, and I think I can leave this guy alone and go back to the farm. I don't have to spend my time building up a coherent what would it be? It's not an ongoing adventure is what I'm trying to say. It kind of is, but it isn't. Because it's just, what I do, the trips I'm taking right now are completely unrelated to the trips I've already done. I can buy a new garage, I can hire a new driver, buy a new truck, but it's not something I need to remember what I did last time and work my way on from that. With games like Farm Sim, I do, but for that to get around that kind of issue, I am playing one farm on Saturdays and holidays, and I'm not playing any other farms. Back when I started streaming Farm Sim, I used to play a different farm every day of the week. And I got to the point where I don't know what I'm doing. I can't remember what I was doing on this farm. Is this the cow farm, the sheep farm, the arable farm? And so I quickly rationalized that when I was still streaming weekdays into I would play one farm I usually played with seasons, so I'd play 2 years and then that was done. After 2 years we'd do a final reckoning and we'd start a new farm. So it did get me a lot of variations in the farms I was playing. I would experience very, very many maps because of that. But we still had seriously, just come off. But the Saturday farm was the Saturday farm. That was the one that I put the most time in. It was the one where I'm trying to figure out what am I doing, what's the goals. But it was easy because I put 3 hours a week into it. And I had a plan. And I think around the time I went to sort of one farm a week type, one farm until I'd finished playing that farm was about the time Daggerwin realised he couldn't keep track of all of his farms either. And he cut down on the numbers of farms, not the numbers of episodes, but he would do 2 farms at a time. And it's easier for, at least I find for me, it's easier for me to manage just doing one farm. Another one, Train Simulator, Train Sim World. It's another game where you pick a scenario, you do the scenario, you're done. It's not building on what you've done before. It's just a game you can sit down with and play. And it lasts as long as the scenario lasts. And that's really where I am right now. I do not have enough time to do stuff in do stuff that builds on stuff that builds on stuff. Like Farm Sim does build on stuff. I need to know what are my plans, what am I planting in my fields, what am I planning to do with what I plant in my fields, have I fertilized, oh, hello. And so it's a story. Story games are fun, but I can't do everything as a story game. So right now, I play Farm Sim. I occasionally play World of Warships offline. And I really, really don't play a lot else. I do watch a lot of play. I do have the occasional Railroader episode. I haven't played Railroader in like 2 weeks because evenings and distractions at evenings and what have you. But that's kind of a build. That is a story game. That is a game that has progression. So it's the only progression game I'm playing outside of Saturday farming. And that really is the way it is. But I'm not playing any weekend games or weekday games. I'm not. And so to get my fix of things like Civilization or what have you, I watch people who are playing them. remember some of the games I've watched recently. But it's just the opportunity to at least appreciate the games that are coming out that I wish I could play. I wish I had the time to play them, but I really don't. So, yeah, it is what it is. Okay, we are maybe done with this tractor, but I'm going to park it here for a minute. Put the okay, turn that off. That's that. Okay, that's on the headland, and then it's got the interior field to do. Let me Deutz-Fahr 6185. Oh, that's the tractor I'm currently in. Okay. Let's get out of that. Don't need to be in that tractor. There is a little bit of a glitch on this thing. That's the support pin for the planter arms when they unfold. And as you can see, it's always there. Okay, let us go here. What's this colour? Needs rolling. Let's delete that. So that field's seeded, fertilised, that field's fertilised, that field has weeds, we'll turn those off, we'll turn mulched off, and this field is mostly fertilised except for where I ran out of solid fertiliser. So we are going to need solid fertiliser if I want to use workers to plant things. Meanwhile, wood transit, Ted grass. You could do that, it pays 2,800, that's not a lot. Mowing, I could do that. Fertilizing, that's tiny. That's me. Oh, well, heck. Hey, I'll accept that one. Sometimes there just comes a contract that you really can't pass up. And then also I am building a model layout in the basement, so that's kind of a thing. I try to put in about an hour a day after work. Just so that there's progress every single day, because it's a big thing. I mean, it's 24 foot long, 8 foot wide, and just, if you just look at it, you say, oh, this is so big, when am I ever going to get it done? Well, never, if you just look at it and say, oh, this is so big, when am I ever going to get it done? But if you actually do something every day, you get progress, and you can see the progress happening. So that's basically what I'm doing at the moment, is progressing. I'm laying the track. It's kind of a long process. I can only really put down 3 foot of track, and then I have to wait for the glue to dry before I can move on to the next bit, because I need to clamp the track down. I don't have enough clamps. I'm not going to buy another 6 clamps so I can do 9 foot at a time. I'm just, I've got enough clamps, I'll do what I do. But once you've soldered wires to the tracks and drilled holes and put the glue down and then put it all together, you can walk away, you can let the glue dry, you can come back tomorrow and do the same thing. And for the rest of the hour, I might just paint the track or that's got to be laid. so that it looks rusty and used. So that's really what I'm doing at the moment. Plus I have the... Oh, we're done. So now we get paid. Peanuts. Collect. Yay. Bale wrapping can't do. So these are all just cut grass. Mowing, I could do the 3 mowing contracts. I could do the tedding. Where's the tedding contract? That is way up at the top. There's a weeding contract. Oh, that pays well. Oh, that's that field right there. Hey, you know what? We'll take that one. Drive this back to the farm. It's getting a little dull and overcast all of a sudden. But yeah, it's just, you know, as with everything, just get out and do a little bit, and eventually you look at it and say, wow, look. And you know, I looked at it last night and did the math, and it's like I finished laying track for half of the circuit. Now that's theoretically not a lot. I mean, it's probably about 30 foot of track, but where the main station's going to be, I've laid both tracks there and all the switches, and so yeah, there's a lot of progress made there. That did take a long time. But now I'm on the loop. It's you know, lay 3 foot, move on, lay 3 foot, move on. And so stuff is happening. Hopefully, obviously I'm going to have to take some time out to do some electrical stuff, but hopefully round about the first week of June I am hoping to get one train to go round the layout once. Well, maybe more than once, but at least have a train moving on the tracks without issues by the end of June. But beginning of June, I would like to get it, you know, at least one train moving. And then at that point, I'm going to spend the rest of June laying the second loop of track. And you know, eventually I'll be able to have 2 trains running at the same time. And then I can start the scenery. And I keep changing my mind which section of scenery I'm